I am way too invested in this damn monkey overseas that can't make
Carrying a
friends.
monkey.
Yeah.
It
And then
made
he
me
finally
cry
made
because I was
friends.
still a little hormonal the first time I
Yeah.
saw it.
And then recently he made friends, and then I just looked and there was a video of him being, other monkeys were being mean to him and they were throwing him around. And I know he's a monkey. I know this is part of monkey behavior. But I'm like, be nice to Punch.
Be
He's a
nice.
sweet little baby. He
Oh, I love the animals of the internet.
I do too. I'm also
I
really
know.
embarrassed that I like care so deeply about the
I'm
friend group of a primate.
I'm kind of okay with it in the realm that I've decided now when I'm thinking like, oh, I'm really sensitive. I'm just going to stay grateful that I'm empathetic. I
That's
would
same. I'm
rather
like,
be
thank
that.
God I feel big feelings all the
Yes.
time, and that I've never thought to myself, is empathy a
Toxic
liability?
or manipulative. Good God.
Am I a bad person because I care about other people?
Right. Right. Or because you think love is love. That was
Yeah.
the chapter that really was pushing me over the edge, was her talking about how love is manipulative. And I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me.
It's like, just what a way to live life.
What a way to live life. Such a way to live your life. Well, who knows if I'm where I'll start, but
Who knows where we'll start? We'll start somewhere.
Yes. But I am back with MacKenzie Green, and there is a lot of pop culture stuff happening. So as you guys know, we're always here to talk about it.
We are.
Yeah.
I think it's fun that
do too.
I get to gib gab with you about pop culture, and we
Same.
love books. And so invariably, bookness comes in.
It does.
Because we both had the same thought while watching the Top Model Netflix docuseries.
Yes.
That I was like, oh boy,
Yeah.
what? And it just immediately made me think of Girl on Girl.
Totally.
Like, I was like, we are in it. We are talking about it. We are, yes. Like, truly.
YouTubers.
I cannot, like, oh, and for people that want like a really great discussion as well about the book, because you know Kate is a good person and lets you plug other things.
Yes, I do.
The Stacks Book Club did Girl on Girl for January Book Club, and so there is an episode of the Stacks with this woman Christina. I cannot remember her last name.
Okay.
She used to be the co-host with Trevor Noah on his podcast. And it's the two of them in conversation. Also, I think you love her podcast. She just launched her pod, and it's called Pop. It's in my, I'm giving to my podcast. Because there's nothing more fun than watching somebody scroll their phone. Right. It's called like Pop Cultured.
I like that.
Yeah, and there goes Hear the Thing. How did this get made? Pop Syllabus. That's the podcast. It's
I like that even
so
more.
smart. It's the kind of stuff we love to do, which is ultimately looking at pop culture through this very like anthropological academic lens. But while I was watching the Tyra thing, I was like, wow, this is the Girl on Girl book. Like this is ultimately, because I feel like what the book covers, which kind of the show is alluding to also, is like the idea of how we as women are sometimes tools of the patriarchy.
Correct.
I'm looking at you, Pam Bondi.
That's who one on top of my mind right now.
Truly, the first person I thought of where I'm like, girl,
the
master's tools will not serve you. Like, divest from it. But I think, like, that's the interesting thing. It's right. It's like within every community, I feel like more or less we can, like, identify, like, oh, no, you are trying to behave for the oppressor. Because it's like when I think about, like, when Black folks talk to each other, we're like, uh-oh, tokens get spent. Like, all right. You going in there, and the same thing, like what Girl on Girl is asking us to think of as women is like, how do we perpetuate and continue like ultimately this patriarchal agenda? So to watch that show, because I don't think people understand how famous Tyra Banks is to the modeling world.
Right. A lot
like
of people
I genuinely
don't know enough about the modeling.
Yeah, I don't think people understand that, like, truly, she and Naomi Campbell are these trailblazers for Black models. I would say Naomi is probably the trailblazer from the like high fashion perspective for a Black model. There's a great Apple doc called Supermodel.
Ooh.
It is so good. Also, shout out to Lindy Evangelista, who is a real one, because like truly the original supers were like Naomi Campbell, Lindy Evangelista, Christy Turlington.
Okay.
I'm taking such a segue because I have to give them their props. Yeah, I have to give these two women their props because in the doc, they ultimately talk about the racial discrimination that Naomi was dealing with as a dark-skinned Black woman. And these two badasses basically started being like, hey, if you want the two of us, you have to hire her. Because they all lived together and they all knew each other.
Oh, good.
And so, like, they pulled a Marilyn Monroe, because people don't know this about Marilyn, is that
I don't
Marilyn
really.
Monroe, oh, this is why I will always be 10 toes down for this woman.
Oh, go on.
Marilyn Monroe really did use her privilege. So when she found out that Billie Holiday, like when these Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday, when these Black singers were performing, because if anybody's ever watched the Dorothy Dandridge movie with Halle Berry, highly recommend it. These people, yes, got to perform at these big venues. We as the conventional public know them to be famous, but they still had to go through the back door. Like, they still couldn't sleep in the main hotel rooms. Like, there's a scene in the Dorothy Dandridge movie where she's being playful with her agent. She sticks her toe in and kicks a little water up at him. And she's like, oh my God, there's a pool. And then when she passes by the pool on her way to perform at the Tropicana Club in Miami, the pool is empty. It's been drained, and there are Black staffers in it scrubbing it down because she put her black toe in the water and therefore tainted the water. Anyway, so that's to give a little background. So Marilyn Monroe's whole thing was she knew the whole world is paying attention to her. So she would intentionally go to these Black performers' shows and would call the press and basically say, hey, if you want to see me and Joe DiMaggio, I'm going to be at Ella Fitzgerald's performance. If you want to catch me out,
that's amazing.
I'll be at Dorothy Dandridge's show. If you want to see me, I'll be at Billie Holiday's. Like, literally, she used, like, and she knew they're going to follow me. They're going to come. They're going to cover the show. They're going to have to sit in the back of the performance and watch the whole thing if they want to come up to me at the end and get this photo. And so, so that is the background where, like, Linda and they pulled the same thing.
That's so cool.
Where they were like, if you want us, you want her. Now, obviously, she would go on to become the Naomi Campbell. So where Tyra became this real breakout star is that she kind of, like, took the lock on, like, the sexy commercial side of modeling. Like, she became, like, the first Black Victoria's Secrets angel. She became, like, the Sears catalog girl. Like, she had high fashion. She got to do American designers, like, you know, Tommy and all that stuff. But, like, the thing that made her, like, the top of Mount Olympus is that she was the first Black cover of Sports Illustrated Swim. She was the first Black Victoria's Secret angel. Like, she was the first in so many things that she really did. And I don't, you know, it's like, I joke with you all the time of, like, Black famous versus mainstream famous. Like, I don't know if she was mainstream famous for her whole career, but all I know is I grew up as an elder millennial under the impression that, like, beauty at its peak is Tyra Banks. Like, that's what you want to be. You want it, like, Tyra was the prototype. So when Top Model happened, it was like appointment viewing for, like, not just from, because I'm sure every millennial woman is like, I also watch Top Model. You're not special. But, like, from at least from my lived experience, it was so important and so important to the culture that, like, Tyra Banks has a reality show.
Right, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was like, because for my brain, it was like, oh my God, Oprah's on TV, Tyra's on TV, like, oh my God. So that set the stage that I was like, Tyra's gorgeous. Tyra knows everything. Tyra is the law. If Tyra says it, you have to do it. Now, the other context I have to give people from my experience with Top Model, my mother is a former model.
That's what I was going to bring up. I was like, you can talk on all of this.
My mother is a former couture fit model. So, like, for people that don't know, like, couturiers, ateliers, they have a model who acts as both muse and mannequin.
Good to
so
know.
That's what a couture fit model is. A lot of times people are like, can I find pictures of her on the runway? I'm like, no.
Right.
And they're like, oh. And my poor mom used to always be like, oh, my modeling career wasn't that special, because she never did the runway.
Right.
But she lived at the atelier of the designer she worked for, and it was her duty. And so ultimately, everything during the time she was at this house is modeled around her. Like she said, she's like, you sit with the designer, you talk about your life, you talk about what's going on. Like, you are their muse. You, like, everything about you, you know, the way your hair looks, your body, yes, everything is modeled around you. At least that's how it was back in like the 70s, 80s. Now, Modeling changes, I highly recommend, again, the Supermodel doc, because we also find out because it pairs well with Girl on Girl.
Yeah.
Is that also these opinionated, outspoken supermodels are the reason designers were like, I just want a clothes hanger.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to make clothes anymore. So that's how we get the heroin chic of the 90s. That's how we get 13-year-old Eastern European girls, because who has an opinion about the racial discrimination of their fellow models? Yeah. Definitely not a 14-year-old girl that barely speaks English.
No.
She's just happy to be here and get paid. Wow. So, yeah, it's like so fascinating. Yeah. But I knew from my mom, like, also what modeling is. So as you can imagine, a show with the woman I want to be like, in the industry I always admired and wanted to be in, I said, yes, please. Sign me up. Sign me up. And I loved every second of those 24 seasons. Yes. I loved every second of them. I watched it when she got fired off the show and it went to VH1. Like, I watched, I cannot think of a season of Top Model I have not seen. Yeah. So to watch that documentary. Right. It was like revisiting a house you thought was the most beautiful home ever, only to realize, like, oh, this was a house of horrors. Yeah. Because to watch that doc because I remembered where I was when Shandy was crying in the corner and her boyfriend was yelling at her about cheating on him. So sad. Or I remember thinking when they were telling Ebony, your skin's too rough, being like, Mommy, how do I fix my skin being rough? Right. And her being like, oh, like, you can put lotion on. And then 3 episodes later, her being told by her castmates, can you stop putting on so much lotion? It's making the doorknobs greasy. I'm like, I mean, truly. And it's like, and so then I started becoming hyper vigilant of like, okay, I want to be moisturized, but I don't want the other girls in my class to know. Oh. But like all these things, or I remember Kelly. Like, I recently said to my therapist, I was talking about my appearance, and I said, oh, I feel like I have the snout of a platypus. And she said, this is also why it's funny having a Black lady therapist, because she said, no, we're not doing that Top Model stuff here. And I said, not you knowing exactly where I heard that from and when. Oh, because it was a critique that was given to a Black woman. Yeah. Well, it was a critique given to a Black woman on Top Model. Yes. And I vividly can remember her sitting in the mansion that they had them staying in, sitting in the mirror in the hot tub, because they had like a hot tub bathtub. Yeah. And I just remember her sitting in this mirror, in this mirrored bathroom, staring at herself in the mirror and just going, I have a mouth like a platypus. Look how much my mouth projects out. And I was like, and I remember, and I was saying to my boyfriend who watched the show, the doc with me, he had never seen an episode of Top Model. He knew nothing about it. He was horrified the entire documentary.
Tyler was so like, confused. He was like, what?
Yeah, he was like, what do you mean? Like, when the girl who they were like,
well, they didn't air this. I'm like, yes, they did.
Yeah. And that was the thing too, is he kept saying to me, like, the whole thing with the girl that they kept calling fat. And I kept trying to say to him, you have to understand, I thought Kelly and the girl that they told looked like a platypus. I thought they were beautiful when the show started. Yep. I was like, wow, they're so beautiful. And I said, and then to watch them be called fat. And my takeaway, I remember saying to my mom, if I ever got on Top Model, I would never gain weight on that show. I would eat as little as I would maintain my body. I just need people to understand. I even auditioned for Top Model.
You can truly speak on all of this.
I can truly speak to the experience. Yes. Made it all the way through. This was actually the year before I ended up deciding to do the pageant. Wow. I'd finished my freshman year. The auditions were coming to town. And we didn't know if I was going to be moving out on my own or living on campus. And so I did the auditions like right after my last final freshman year. My mom came to town. I went to the convention center in Miami, because this had to have been 2006. So this is back when like that scene in the doc where they're showing like the lines around the block. Yeah. That was that era. Yeah. Like Top Model was big. It was important. Like, and I remember I had spent my entire high school my adolescence saying to my dermatologist, I just got to get my skin clear. I can't audition for Top Model if I have zits or if I have dark marks from my zits and all this stuff. That audition was the craziest thing ever. It gave me, though, one of the greatest highs I'm still riding to this day, which was a man yelled at me, ain't that the bitch that makes the baby fat jeans, when I was headed into the callback room. And I just need people to understand, I love Kimora Lee Simmons with everything in my body.
Yeah, I think we may have talked about her.
Yeah. So having this man be like, ain't that her?
You're like, oh my God.
And on top of it, Kimora had been a judge, and it happened right when the door opened when I was going in for the final interview. Oh. So in my head, I was like, oh my God.
I'm killing this. Yeah.
I was like, they're going to be like, oh my God, she does look like Kimora, who's also Tyra's best friend.
Oh, didn't know
so
that.
I was like, wow, I'm a shoo-in. I didn't get cast that season. They did cast an actual Asian woman who everybody said looked like Kimora. And I was like, wow. Okay. So it could have been me.
Just Asian.
Yeah, well, but let me tell you what, like man's rejection is God's protection. Because watching that docuseries, I said, oh.
You're like, I avoided something bad again.
I said, wow, so I could have actually put myself in not only pageantry, but also this hellscape?
Right.
Oh, Lord. I'm like, I wouldn't have made it out alive from the early 2000s.
No. Well, and to your point about your therapist, before I forget, like knowing the platypus reference too, this is also why pop culture matters more than people think it does. Like there's stuff to be learned and like seen. But also then like the negative stuff can stick in your head in such a big way because
but I think it's the right, it's like the things we don't think about, the insidious nature of pop culture we consume. Like I even think about what are going to be the implications years from now. I mean, and you know this, I mean, this is what Bookwild is built off of like the prevalence of murdered women being like a genre of book that people love. Like you know this, and I say this every time I read a Lisa Jewell book. They make me so sad.
Oh yeah,
because somebody is going to die before this book is over.
Yeah,
and it's someone that dies that when I finish the book, I'm like, well, how the hell is the family supposed to go on now?
I know.
Or I'm like, the dad is dead. These little kids don't have a father.
Yes.
He got murdered by the crazy lady. What?
This is why I've been, sometimes I send her disclaimers. I'm like, this is a tragedy though. This is a tragedy, just so you know.
Truly. Like I have to get, because like I think about that a lot of times of like, the same way we're now watching Top Model docs and being like, oh my God, like you couldn't tell me at the time that the race swapping thing wasn't revolutionary. Like when I was trying to explain to my boyfriend, the moment when they show it happen a second time, he goes, they did it again? And I said, but honey, you have to understand, Barack wins the presidency. He becomes the most famous biracial man in the world. And Tyra and Ken Monk decide what's the best way we can honor Barack Obama? We gonna make all these girls into biracial people.
Oh my God. Was that kind of publicly discussed, or is that like your inference?
No, that was like how they posed it. So they did it the first time and it was already inappropriate.
Right.
But then when they did it the second time, because in the doc, Tyra's like, we learned our lesson. We know better. And then I love that the doc organizers are like, ha, surprise, 8 seasons later, they do it again.
I love that cut.
I love that cut. But it was like, I remember that episode, and Tyra's whole selling of it was Barack Obama's biracial and he's the president, and biracial people are beautiful. So we're going to make you biracial. You're half Korean and black. You are half Polish and Irish. And it was like, Tyra, what are we doing?
No. We've gone too far for the spectacle.
But it's like, when I think about it, I'm like, am I going to one day be sitting with my kids and there will be docuseries about like, all of these, you know, and then she was gone. Looking out the window, murder in cabin 12, murder in cabin 10.
I know.
She went missing. And are they going to look at me and be like, the housemaid, are they going to be like, Mom, this is crazy that like y'all just read books about like women killing or being killed?
I have to read you a passage.
Please.
So I just started actually I saw it in a like Black authors, Black history post. So I was really happy. But then I also saw some people compared it to We Used to Live Here, which is I do think that's actually probably my favorite fiction book of all time. I think I have to admit that I do have one favorite.
Listen, we've talked about this. I have a problematic fave author.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We all know this. Yes. I have discussed it with you, Sibo Campbell. I've had to do it off air. I will never discuss it with you, the audience, because I really do love this man.
Yes. Yes.
And the way I'm just like, ah,
Right.
he is my, it's the same way with, I will out her. Tracy from the Stags loves Gone with the Wind.
Oh.
And I love to tease her about it because it's like, she's like, everybody gets a problematic fave. And I'm like, but Tracy, it's so funny for all of your, that's the thing. I'm like, for all of your awareness and like all that you do to like celebrate Black authors, Black story. I'm like, I love that you love Gone with the Wind.
Erin Crosby Epstein, who wrote Junie, if anyone wants to, she talks about it in my episode.
The opening of The Great Man is
her
Kyra Davis Laurie.
Loved the book, and she like really enjoys it.
Yeah, the same thing. Kyra Davis Laurie starts The Great Man with that beautiful essay on like one of my favorite books is The Great Gatsby. One of my favorite authors is F. Scott Fitzgerald. He did not like Black people. Like, and I have to come to terms with the fact that like this person I loved would not have loved me back.
I think Eminem might be one of mine where I'm like, yeah, I know he wasn't the best with the way he would talk
give you
about
a pass.
women.
If you said Vanilla Ice, then I'd be a little like, okay.
There's still more redeeming parts of him.
Yeah,
I feel
I'm like,
a little better, but there are still times when I'm like, oh, he really did just say the F word. Okay.
Yeah.
But this book I'm reading called Model Home by River Solomon, which
I've heard of.
I cannot believe I had not heard. I don't know if it's their or her writing. I don't know which one.
Same. Yeah, likewise. It's always fun with authors. You're like,
I can't tell. And I haven't seen enough discourse to have like caught a pro down.
Yeah. I'm always like, the author.
Yes.
The author said.
Yes. So this author has multiple books, so I will probably go read other ones, but this is the most poetic prose I've ever read about true crime. So, and it's a little bit long, so buckle up everyone. But after midnight, when Elijah still can't sleep, I watch TV with her in bed. True crime, something grisly about a dead teenager or several. We both find solace in the inevitability of broken girls, something to count on. My youngest sister, Emmanuel, asks how my daughter and I can stomach such ugliness. I tell her we watch the sensationalized breakdowns of people's lives in the same spirit we do puzzles. By the end, we hope to piece it all together. We cling to the promise inherent in the genre's title that we will find something true here. Not that any of these series ever deliver. This isn't because they lack in true things to say, but because we already know the true things they have to say. What we're actually hoping for is a different truth, a different answer to the question, why did he do it? How did the wife not know? Why did the mother allow this? Why weren't they watching more closely? How in such a crowded cafe did no one see? Did no one stop this untethering of blood from body? The answer to all these questions, of course, is that human beings are not very good. I say this not misanthropically, but with the realization that we, through apparent dominance over other animals, have crowned ourselves kings, when in reality, we are all ill-equipped to handle the basic demands of life on this scale. We're forest creatures who've wandered into the man-made road, eyes frozen wide.
Bars.
Is that not the most beautiful description of it?
Like, wow.
Understanding?
We are hoping for a different outcome.
Yes. Or we even to understand.
Or to understand. You are so right. It really is.
I really understand that.
But I think when I
think also matters who's writing it, for the record.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like when I think about the Top Model doc, I think about Q the Sun, I think about Apprentice in Wonderland. Like, to your point, we laugh and poo-poo pop culture. This also ties to, this is really, again, another pop culture episode.
Even when it's not true crime.
Or it's just like, it's like we do. And I think about, I cannot remember the name of the book. Not And Then She Was Gone, but it's got like a red corset on the cover and it's got like a green ribbon wrapped around it. It's an anthology of stories about what we like about, like, to your point, broken girls.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's so fascinating to me. When I think about it, I think honestly, that's kind of what people loved about Top Model. If I'm being honest, it's like, you got to watch beautiful, stunning women be plucked from obscurity.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, but this is also the American dream, because Q the Sun talks about this. It's like, it's the idea that perpetuated the American dream. Most of the reality shows we love perpetuate this, like, and they talked about it on this podcast where they were like, it is what we hope the American dream is. Just like how true crime is, we hope to make sense of and I think the reason women like it, to that line, we hope to make sense of the cruelty of men.
Yeah.
we hope that there's something in this book or in this true crime show or in something that will help us identify, like, why do men do, why did a husband who took vows that he loved this woman wake up one day and decide, I'm gonna kill her?
Yeah.
And it's the same way when I think about what they were posing with Top Model, is like, it perpetuates the American dream that you can be a waitress at a Denny's in the middle of nowhere. And if you just work hard, show up every day to work, do what you got to do, keep putting in that effort, one day somebody's going to walk in that Denny's and be like you, and they're going to make you a millionaire. And they're going to make you rich and famous. And it'll come to you in a second. Yeah. And it's like, when I think about Cue the Sun and what they're saying, like, at the end of the day, we're trying to make sense of, because that one thing they talk about, the first reality show that followed that family. It's like, it's parents trying to understand, like, how do I make sure nothing happens to my kid? It's like, it's why 16 and Pregnant exists. It's like, yes, it perpetuates. I mean, that's a whole separate thing where I think it's part of, you know,
the way you tell
white
the
nationalist
matters too.
I think it's also part of the white nationalist agenda to be like, have babies young, have lots of them, please. But also,
don't abort them.
Exactly. But also, it's like, if I think about myself at that age, it's like, I kind of watched 16 and Pregnant to be like, how do I make sure I don't do that? I'm being told that is the worst thing ever. So maybe if I watch this show,
I can avoid it.
I can reverse engineer what they did wrong.
Yeah. It makes you feel prepared sometimes.
It makes you feel like you can walk through it. It's the same thing. Like, I'm, you know, again, I have a partner now who never watched Real Housewives, who does not care about the Bad Girls Club, any of that. And I was trying to explain the Bad Girls Club to him and Baddies. And then I was like, you know what? I should just read you this book called What Happened to Ruthie Ramirez. And I was like, because that's a way better, like, fictionalization of somebody that would end up on the Bad Girls Club. So that you can better understand. But, like, that's the thing, is like, I whether we like it or not, pop culture is such a mirror of where we are in space and time. And it's like,
even
Top
when
Model
the edit isn't real. The reason the edit was edited that way is a mirror.
It's because it really was real, and there really was something they wanted to do with that. And it's like, and that's kind of what Girl on Girl asks you, is like, hey, what has been your complicity in this? Like, how have you helped to create the woman on woman violence, the girl on girl violence that has kind of thrown us into this turmoil, for lack of a better, you know, example. And I think that's what's kind of funny, is to watch that doc and to watch, like, the machinations people are going through of, like, well, I wasn't part of this.
Oh, I know.
And I'm like,
production.
Or even just watching the audience be like, Tara, you can't put this on me. And I'm like, okay, but guys, here's the thing. We carried that shit with us.
It was popular.
And not just popular, but I think about my senior year of high school. I remember doing my prom photos. I was already uncomfortable. I already thought I was very ugly. And I remember handing them to, I went to a Catholic school. I remember handing them to our religious counselor, who was also our, like, kind of homeroom teacher. And I remember she said to me, you should have tried smizing.
Oh my God.
Now, in hindsight, as a culture, the smarter answer would have been, you look beautiful. Did you have a good night that night? Let's move on from a 17-year-old picking her appearance apart from photos that were taken by the high school football coach. MacKenzie, it was never you. That man don't know nothing about photography.
Oh my God. I know. The way some people don't know you do photograph black people and black skin differently.
Also, it's like, this man ain't no photographer.
And
like,
framing isn't gonna matter.
Once I became a model and I realized a good photographer is like, do this with your arm. So I don't know why I'm picking myself apart. That the school couldn't. I'm like, instead of the teacher going, oh, sweetheart, the school couldn't pay for a photographer, and coach so-and-so said he could do it. So, sweetheart, you look lovely. The dress is beautiful. Did you have a good night? But instead it was like, everybody thought they were a model. Because of Top Model, everybody thought they had an opinion about appearance and aesthetics and looks.
And that it was fun to, like.
And that it was fun.
I mean, stuff.
I still think about watching them get Brazilian waxes Now, keep in mind, I was a swimmer at this time.
Oh, yeah.
And it was what it was happening below the waist. My attitude was at that, because it really was this shift, like pre-top model, post-top model. And pre-top model, I'm sure my coaches were like, she's got to get this situation under control. I mean, I remember once one of our female coaches was like, shaving is an option, girls. And I was like, not if you're going so fast, nobody can see. Like,
yes.
In my head, I was like, if I just win and get out of the pool faster, no one can see. Post-top model, that was the first time I had been informed I wasn't supposed to have hair on my body.
I know.
So I'm
looking at hard for me because sometimes from a sensory perspective,
oh yeah,
that's I prefer it but that like, way. But then
when I think about it,
they wanted us.
I cannot imagine when I think about my mom's perspective, what it must have felt like to have like your 11, 12-year-old say,
right,
can I get waxed before the next swim meet?
Wow. Yeah.
And you're not realizing where she's getting it. Like, yeah, my mom's watching the show with me, but she's also watching it as a model being like, oh, this is a funny little dramatization. Right.
Well, and she's not even over and over again of I need to prepare you for what it's going to be like.
Yeah. But that was the funny part is now in hindsight, my mom will say, I thought you knew that wasn't really how it worked. That was a TV version.
So camp to her.
Yeah, like she was like, it's so absurd.
Yeah.
She has to know this. I mean, my mom was having the equivalent of what I have when she sends me AI videos. And I'm like, Mommy.
It's not real.
Mommy. Let's just, do you really think this is like sometimes she'll send me and for months it never occurred to me to be like, oh my God, she thinks this is real. She's not sending me like, ha ha ha, let's laugh at AI slop together. Yes. She's like, is this real? And I'm like, oh, and that's the same thing with that show. It was AI slop to her. She was like, oh, she has to know that, they shoot swimsuit campaigns in the winter, but they don't shoot it on freezing cold rooftops on the East Coast.
Right.
They'll shoot a swimsuit campaign in St. Lucia in the winter.
Yes.
They'll shoot a swimwear campaign in Brazil in the winter. They'll go to South Africa to shoot a summertime campaign.
Not give them hypothermia.
But they're not going to Michigan and going, it's snow on the ground. We got to shoot these swimsuits. Get on out there, babe. Like,
oh my God.
She was like, my daughter knows this. And so like, I just watching that whole documentary, it was so mind blowing to revisit it and also have to come to terms with like what Girl on Girl says, which is like, Tyra, not only did you help promote the kind of like patriarchal agenda, but you also engaged in so much misogynoir. I'm like, that needs its own episode.
I know. And like when it was Ebony, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she was like, when she pulled me to the side, I thought like, oh, this is another Black woman. She's gonna like understand and like be like, hey, I'll help you this way. No.
No. Or watching somebody like Danny be like, I was told I shouldn't have a gap in my teeth. And then she was like, and then a few seasons later,
and what's the difference?
She would give someone a gap.
A white girl.
Yeah. And it is that thing where you're like, oh my, Tyra. Tyra. No, this is girl on girl violence at its peak. And it's just so fascinating to me. I felt the same way watching that documentary I did when I read Apprentice in Wonderland.
Yeah, it was reminding me of that book as well.
Yeah, where you are like, oh, I did watch this show. Oh yeah, the people in the show were bad. But then when you really look and you realize all the shit it laid way for.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
I know.
Even that moment when what's her face, Whitney, was like, oh, I was a size 6 and they kept calling me plus size. It immediately brought me back to being at Miss USA.
Yeah.
And having people call me the plus size contestant. And I wore a 4 at that time in my life.
That is tiny. Especially if you're tall. And you're tall, right?
Literally 5'10".
Okay, yeah.
Wearing like a 4. If I was really eating, it was a 6. It was like, oh boy.
It was
and I
weak.
remember, and to the point of like the the girl on girl violence of it all. Like I remember,
going
to get my swimsuit, and this is again such a vivid thing. You day one, you shoot your composites.
Okay.
So they have your opening number dress, they have your swimsuit, and so before anything happens, you are immediately thrown into you're thrown into photo shoots and clothes you didn't pick. And makeup artists you've never met.
Principal photography and
hair
type
people.
Stuff.
Yeah, it's terrifying. And a photography you've never talked. Like, you're not even warmed up. All you've done is you marked your initial on the check-in sheet that you are in fact there. You rode an escalator upstairs and it's go time.
Yeah.
And I still remember the costumer when I was trying on my swimsuits. Oh, God. When I came out in a large size top. I'm really about to out myself on the internet, and I feel like I'm going to get a pervy comment for this. I have double D boobies. I have big boobs. I have very large boobies. I even had to get a breast reduction in high school.
Wow.
They were so large. Yes. I remember going to check-in. And now, again, you have to keep in mind, I think Tyra Banks is the most beautiful person. So at this stage of my life, I am 5'10", same height as Tyra. I'm basically Cher Horowitz. Talking about how my goal going to Miss USA was to look like Tyra.
Yeah.
If I'm 5'10" like Tyra, I have double D boobs like Tyra. I'm like, I got big boobs, small body.
Yeah.
I remember the costumer when I came out in the large top. It was not big enough for my boobies.
Right.
And he said, oh, great. Now I'm going to have to get an extra large top for you. Now, here's the kicker. Other girls also had big boobs, but they were fake.
So
does
that mean the sizing is different as well?
The sizing was different because they sat up higher on their own. They didn't need the support of the tops. And I remember even saying to the costumer, because this is what killed me. We had the choice of swimsuits that had an underwire or triangle tops.
Yep.
As somebody with boobies.
Yeah.
I was like, going into it, I was like, I got to get the underwire one.
Yeah.
And I remember the guy was like, no. And to the point of like the top model of it all, how it's like, why would you cast Danny if you know the industry doesn't like gaps? If you were then going to, it's like, okay, so you just brought her here to slightly humiliate her, tell her to close her gap, and then like show other girls that have gaps in their teeth. Like, look, Danny closed her gap and she won the show.
Right.
Which is what happened. She ultimately got rewarded for modifying her appearance. And I remember, similar to the Danny thing, where I was like, well, if you just gave me an underwire, it would, one, look less lewd, and we wouldn't need to order a larger size. Because that was the kicker, is the fact that he was like, we're going to have to order a larger size. In order for you to look right, we're going to have to. And I was like, oh, okay, well, then I'll wait for and he was like, no, we take the photos, though, today. So we're going to take a picture of you in this ill-fitting top.
Oh, my God.
And I've already then I go from that moment. Now I'm over at the opening number dress. And the person's like, oh, now they're all sample sizes. So she's like, the 4 is way too small. Oh my God. We're going to have to get a 6 for you.
Not a 6.
And I'm like, and again, because I come from a family of bigger girls, all this stuff, like athletic women, I'm like, oh my God, girl, I'm so tiny. And they're like, that's not something to be proud of. And I'm like, oh. So then they're like, okay, well, we're gonna take your picture, and what we can do, please put on a strapless bra so we can chip clip this dress to your back with like 6 clips.
Oh my God.
And you do it in front of all the other contestants.
I'm sure.
So other people are hearing like
vulnerable.
So other people are hearing, and you're 20. In my case, you've just turned 20.
It is so young. You don't,
or not even that. You're 19,
20.
Turning 20 in like 3 months.
Yeah.
So you're in a ballroom having somebody yell out, "We're gonna have to order a bigger top."
Oh my God.
So when I'm watching the top model thing, and they're telling Whitney, "Well, you're so big. We don't have any clothes here that fit you." Like, I remember that. I remember people saying like, well, how are you going to get a Giovanni, which I'm like, Housewives of New York, how are you going to get a Giovanni deal if you can't fit the samples? You know, you're on this, it's so fascinating. And to that thing of the promise I made myself, if I ever went on top model, I'd never eat. I get to Vegas, they're taking us to the best restaurants in the world that they have in that city. None of us are eating. Everybody's terrified of gaining weight and not being able to fit into their stuff.
Right.
So every single person, we're at Michelin starred sushi restaurant. Everybody's eating a half a piece of sashimi. This is good. I'm happy. I'm full.
Yeah.
And so it's like, but again, to the girl on girl violence, it did not matter how much I was like, screw what other people are saying outside of here. You know, it should come as a surprise in his own body. I was trying to lead the revolution. I'm like, screw what's happening outside of here. Let's just be.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was like, we can't. And people are holding each other accountable, selling stories about each other to blogs. I had an entire message board at one point dedicated to she's a man in a wig. Entire message boards dedicated to breaking down if I was a man. Not to be confused with the message board called MacKenzie Green ... worst winner ever. Also not to be confused with the message board MacKenzie Green, fattest Miss USA contestant.
Oh my God.
Not to be confused with the sports betting that was taken out on us. To then watch the comments on the sports betting page say, she's the biggest odds. You'll really make your bank on her. Look how big she is. Yeah. If she wins, I really make my money back.
Well, and not taking away from the pain for you, the fact that like trans sniffing or what, I can't remember what's the term.
But that's what I'm saying. It's
like, it's also shitty that because it's making an assumption that like a trans person is gross too.
But that's what but that was another thing that happened on Top Model. Isis that was her name. Isis becomes the first trans contestant.
Right.
What I remember distinctly about Isis's season, what was the first photo shoot they did? Put them all in bikinis. After Isis has just said in the audition, no, I haven't gone through bottom surgery. You know, I don't have the money for it. If I win this, I can. And what do they immediately do? Throw her in a swimsuit.
Oh my God.
And then you've got Yusai, the photographer, talking about it looks really bulky down below. You need to learn how to tuck better. You don't look good. Ugh, why are you hiding yourself like that?
Why do you think?
Same thing when Ebony's like, oh, I said I was a lesbian.
Right.
That's what the entire show became. And it's like, and I think more than anything, if people are like, for myself, it's like, if I were to organize my thoughts, it's like the real issue on the table is like, we need to pay better attention to pop culture.
Yes.
Because it really has a chokehold on how we operate.
Totally.
Whether we realize it or not.
Even like when I think of, that was making me think of like receipts, timelines, like the way that gets repeated over and over. And it's great. It's a great thing to use when you're like catching someone in a lie. But like, yes, of course it sticks with us long. It's kind of like songs. Like music makes ideas stick in your head longer. I also think these like big zeitgeist moments are going to make it stick in your head longer too.
Well, I always think about too, watching the Top Model doc, is that it feels like RuPaul's Drag Race was almost the antithesis to it.
I saw someone saying you guys forget that RuPaul's Drag Race was satire, and I was like, oh.
Same thing. Flavor of Love was meant to be satire of reality dating.
Yeah.
This had to be explained in my house because, again, the boyfriend saw me watching a Tiffany. Well, we were watching the Housewives of Potomac reunion.
Okay. Yep.
And that moment, he doesn't watch the whole season. Like, he'll come in and out of the room when I'm watching it. And so at the reunion, they were like, do you want to explain what you meant when you said Stacey had butthole lips and looked like Forrest Whitaker about the eyes? And this man goes, oh my God, that is the most devastating insult I've ever heard. And he was like, that is a poetic level insult to someone. So then I said to him, oh, if you think that's poetic, let me introduce you to Tiffany Pollard giving the Gemma Shoe monologue, to which then led to, who's Tiffany Pollard? And I'm like, babe, buckle up. Let me tell you a story about the greatest piece of satire ever made that nobody knew was satire.
Right.
But like, to the RuPaul's Drag Race of it, when we talk about pop culture,
when
we talk about girl on girl, I wish the author had even gotten into, at least for me, RuPaul's Drag Race became a very validating place as a woman.
Yeah.
I know people have beef with trans women and they love to act like they're trying to take away from women. For me,
they're not.
Being a self-conscious young woman who's coming off of what felt like the entire internet. Like, I still can't even watch the video of myself on stage
It's all there
on YouTube because the first comment is, she looks like a man in a wig. Before my grandmother died, I didn't even show her the YouTube video. Like, thank God she was in the room to see it.
Yeah.
But she used to love watching videos of me during that time, and that I could never show them to her.
Yeah, you don't want to see
But
that.
for me, RuPaul's Drag Race, to this idea of girl on girl and what pop culture does to women, I loved it because I'm watching Latrice Royale. I'm watching fat men, tall men, skinny men, short men.
You're right.
I'm watching Latrice Royale, a fat Black man with a deep booming voice, put on a corset. Now again, you all have to remember, this is 2000s.
Yeah.
We've got heroin chic, the skinnier the better, low-rise jeans. Now you got to have a ripped body. Show off your hip, like, don't have hip dips. Don't let your thighs touch.
Oh my gosh, I know. Lose all the weight, but don't have hip dips.
Lose all the weight, but also have a body. But don't lose your boobs or your butt.
Yeah.
But lose all the weight. But to watch these queens have such reverence for being a woman in a way that I was like, say what now? I want, again, Latrice Royale gotta be pushing 300 easy. And to watch Latrice get in a corset, still big in this corset, but be like in her confessionals as she's walking the runway being like, yes, get into this body, get into these titties. I said, what?
Yeah.
Wait. And she was like, I am feeling my full fish. I am gorgeous. And I was like, wait. The same thing I had with trans women, where I was like, you have such respect and love for being a woman and truly feel that in your body so much.
Yes.
And I don't mean the fishy queens. I don't mean the bitches you can't clock. Right. I'm talking about the clocky brick ones. Yeah. I'm talking about the Harper and Will documentary on Netflix where you're like, I'm talking about the ones that Republicans love to use, aka a man in a wig.
Yes.
You know, the people who are a couple months into estrogen. Yep. And they still got the square jaw and a gorgeous dress. And to watch those kind of brick-looking girls love being a woman. Yeah. To watch Trixie Mattel and her clown makeup. Because here I am as a teen, adolescent, young adult, still not able to figure out my makeup. Yeah. But Trixie feels like the most beautiful bitch in the world. Right. And she's got giant black eyeliner. Yes. And is talking about herself like she is the most stunning woman. It really made me go, oh. Yeah. What a gift.
And the way that you can embody femininity. Not with what your body always looks like.
Or this idea that femininity is afforded to anyone. Right. Like for me, it was seeing these drag queens out of drag that had strong bodies and handsome faces. Yeah. And then, like you said, watching them have so much ritual and just like love being a woman so much. Yeah. And they revere it to a point that they're telling each other like, oh, so you don't care about drag. So you're not showing off your body. And I'm thinking, as I'm watching these people, I'm like, but you've got an apron belly.
Right.
And you're wearing such a tight dress. Yeah.
That's what I'm still stressed about because that has not gone away from me yet. It's the last thing. And I'm obsessed about it.
And that's what I'm saying.
I'm like, what?
But it's like, I think that part too, when I think about when I think about reading the Lilac people and seeing and all those passages where the characters are talking about like, well, no, this isn't what makes you a man. This is what makes you a man. But unfortunately, we have to do this performance for other people. It's like just all the implications that pop culture has, and especially in this case, that Top Model had on an entire generation. Right. When like Top Model's off the air, Drag Race is still on. And we are still discovering new ways of gender expression, of expressing femininity through these queens.
Mm-hmm. I know. Bob the Drag Queen special. That just keeps reminding me. Her look for her special, gorgeous, so
gorgeous,
cool and vibrant, insane, and beautiful.
Or when I'm watching and the boyfriend is like, "Oh, Monet looks great,"
yeah,
and I'm like, this is speaking of top model and beauty standards. I've been rewatching True Blood with my partner.
Oh yeah,
and again, the insidious nature of how content works. Also, for people that want to know, this ladders to what we're talking about. True Blood was a book series. Shut your face. Everything leads back to books.
Yes, I didn't know
you
that
out
either.
there judging me. Yeah. So we turn it on. I love the show.
Yes.
I thought Sookie Stackhouse was so innocent and beautiful and virginal, and she's who I aspire to be, and I want to be like Sookie. All this stuff. I was like, oh my God. I always thought Tara was ugly.
Yeah.
And also the show, as we're rewatching it, the show also needs you to believe that Tara is undesirable.
Yeah.
And Tara, for people that haven't watched the show, Tara is Sookie's best friend, who is a Black woman played by Rutina Wesley.
Yeah.
Yes, you're looking at a picture.
I know. I mean, she's stunning. I remember her now.
Yes. So, show starts. Immediately, part of what the show also wanted you to think about is the fact that Tara, who we're supposed to believe is unattractive,
that is crazy,
not the desirable one, has a crush on Sookie's brother, Jason, and she is not Jason's type. Now, again, you guys have to remember, we are millennials of a certain age.
Yes.
We literally had a whole genre of movies that were about like, hey, girl, change your appearance, and he might fall in love with you.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So even at that stage of my life, I'm like, okay, Tara, you're so in love with Jason. Fix your appearance. So in this one particular scene, you have Tara, dark-skinned Black woman, braids. She's portrayed as very loud.
Very muscularly is what I'm
noticing.
Yes,
very muscular, strong arms, all this stuff. Tara's on screen. And also they had Tara be very loud, very outspoken. Yes. So everything about Tara, to me, was what is unattractive. So in this scene, my boyfriend looks up. He was reading one of his books. He looks up because he was like, ooh, I love this show. He looks up. Jason Stackhouse is talking to a beautiful, thin, conventionally attractive, white, brunette waitress. And Tara is in the background watching the scene. And we are supposed to interpret that as like, this is what Jason wants. Tara's opining in the back. The way it made my brain rewire when he looked up from his book and went, why wouldn't he want the hot girl? And then I said to him, yeah, I always wanted one of those Merlot's waitress shirts too. He said, no, not her. The friend, Tara. She's hot. And I'm like, now mind you, I've watched so much TV with this man, and I've watched The Hunting Wives. And for people that don't know, there's boobies for days in The Hunting Wives.
Lots of it.
So I'm like,
it was supposed to be on Cars. That's the vibe.
Yeah, and we had already seen boobies at the start of True Blood. So I'm waiting. So when he said, God, she is hot, I'm like, first of all, rude. Second of all, this is the first time I've ever watched a show with you and heard you say somebody's hot. So then end of the season, again, it is reaffirming to us how unattractive Tara is because she shows up in her shitty homecoming dress with bad blue eyeshadow on and a side pony. And I then am like thinking, as I know we're heading towards the scene, I go, okay, good. We're going to get to this scene. And now he'll get to see what I see. Because weirdly now I'm trying to prove to him.
You're like, no.
No. You don't understand what I see.
Yeah.
No. You have to. Here's the thing. She is unattractive in some scenes.
Right. We
get to that
most
scene.
Beautiful people don't look beautiful all the time.
Truly. So we get to that scene. And I'm like, so see, this is when she looks like a hot mess, right? And he's like, babe, I'm not seeing what you're talking about. And I'm like, well, look at her. She looks ridiculous in this red dress. He was like, her legs look great. I'm like, no, but like her stomach's not flat. And he was like, I didn't notice that, babe. What are you talking about? And I'm like, okay, but look at her bad eyeshadow. He's like, what? He was like, I just got her. Her skin glows. I'm like, yeah, but she's got bad pastel blue eyeshadow on. He's like, I didn't notice that. And I'm like, okay, but look at her really stupid. Like, it's wild.
Yes.
experiencing culture that impacted us. Like, I don't know if you had the same feeling, but like reading Girl on Girl was like watching the Top Model documentary, like reading Apprentice in Wonderland, where all of a sudden you are zoomed out.
Yeah.
And you are looking at 10,000 feet at the landscape to which you thought things were normal.
Yes.
Like you said, receipts, proof, timeline, prostitution, whore, all of it. You're looking at a high level of the content you consume.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, no wonder I'm a little fucked up.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Y'all, I just found the red dress and her legs do look fantastic. I'm not even noticing her hair.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I was like, it's cheap and it's spandex and it's so ugly. And he's like, babe, I don't see none of that. What are you talking about? I'm like, but look, her stomach's not flat. He's like, baby, I'm just focused on them strong. He was like, I'm just looking at her. I'm looking at those legs, you know. And then he said some explicit stuff that I was like, okay, we get it. But like,
you're with the right guy.
But like, that's the thing. It's like, I think watching the Top Model doc, and maybe you can speak to this from like a PTSD perspective. I don't think people realize the trauma they have ingested. And I would be curious to know if like the first step in kind of telling somebody they were a victim is like a level of anger at you for pointing it out.
Okay, so interestingly, there's this author who reached out to me about a book called The Cost of Healing in Silence, which is basically a lot about how even our like therapy system doesn't necessarily know how to recommend racial or not recommend. What is the word I'm looking for? Like help through.
Oh, account for. Yeah, like account and help us work through like racial issues.
And it doesn't acknowledge it very often too.
Yeah.
And she just posted something, the Harriet Tubman quote that's like, I could have saved more slaves if more of them knew they were slaves.
Yes.
And she kind of talked about how that's what's really important to her in this video I saw yesterday, where she's like, some people don't want to hear that they're still being oppressed in modern day times. And they're like, no, I'm okay.
They think,
okay.
And I think even today, it's like, you're watching almost this like reverse backlash where it's like initially there were the think pieces that were like, we were a victim of Tyra, and now you're seeing these people that are like, I wasn't a victim, I thought the show was great, I enjoyed it. And it's like, hey, it's okay. Like I almost feel like there's with that kind of like insidious nature, it's almost this like people are fighting to be like, I'm not impacted by the media I consume, don't lump me in with the rest of you idiots that like based your beauty standards
on a moral failing.
Yeah, it's like a moral failing that I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, how many episodes of Housewives have we watched where people freak the fuck out when somebody else is like, I get it, I triggered you, and they're like, I'm not triggered.
You're like,
whoa,
you're yelling.
Because like that in itself, I'm like, oh, what you're mad about is you feel like this woman is saying she has power over you. And it's like, you could just say, yeah, I was sure. This is only because I've had this conversation with my family recently where I'm like, you guys know you're allowed to say this triggered me. And that doesn't mean that you're like easily manipulated. It just means like, oh, you brought up some icky shit for me just now with that thing you said. But
and to the point of PTSD, what you're saying, that's like a big part of getting a grasp on it is accepting that you will never completely get rid of a trigger and you will never completely get rid of a wound. And so it's very important to also take responsibility when you're triggered, to be like, I know why I'm being triggered by this. Like, it can be totally valid, but like, you can also know why it's hitting you so hard too.
Even just the trigger for me of like that moment when Tyra was showing her, like, you can kiss my fat ass. And I was like, that was a trigger for me because it was also the start of like body positivity. And I use air quotes to say it was almost like it got co-opted. And we're seeing it now where people are like, well, what happened to body positivity? And it's like, my nutritionist said the best thing to me where she was like, the goal is body neutrality.
Yes.
That's really what it is. It's being able to exist in your body, skinny,
just
big,
thinking about your
and just exist. And just be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it's like, because even now in this, like, as people are calling it, like the death of body positivity thanks to weight loss shots. I'm like,
I know.
No, that's not, this is,
I personally
disagree. yeah, I'm like, I personally just wanted my health back, but
Yep.
I'm still, and I'm like, and let's be clear, again, I'm 5'10", and I'm now smaller than I was at the pageant.
Right.
I still walk into stores and ask where the plus sizes are.
Right. I'm like just now to the point where like I used to have to buy XL for it to just
Yep.
fit. And
Yeah.
then you get to the point where it's like I buy XL for it to be a little baggy. And I just hit the spot where I can sometimes buy large and it's baggy.
And I'm saying this now with somebody that when I do brand events and they send me what size do we send to you, I typically send back an email that says, if you have a small or an extra small, just send me whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then I will still ask though, does your brand though have inclusive sizing?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they will, and I've had PR people look at me like, okay, but girl, you just asked us to send you an extra small.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you care if we have double XLs? And I'm like, because I'll be really honest. Like, it's somebody's gonna be like, bitch, what? It's like when I hear disability activists talking and they're like, everybody should care about ableism because at some point, all of us will need mobility assistance. Yep. And I cared about ableism the moment I had to start pushing wheelchairs with my grandfather.
Right.
That was the day I became fully aware of how ableist our society is, how much we lack mobility. It's why when I see a YouTube video or a TikTok about like, oh, something to help you slide your socks on, I'm like, it's not for you.
No.
It's not for you, Clifton. Yeah, it's for somebody who cannot reach down and put their socks on.
Yes.
Now, if
I saw one of your comments on one that opens water bottles.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm sorry. I thought it was like just laziness. I didn't realize this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And truly, it's like, okay, if Chad, though, at the frat house doesn't want to lean down and put his socks on, he can buy this, but that's not the intention. Right. And I oftentimes feel the same way about fat phobia that I do ableism, which is I have been small, I have been big. Yes. I have been small again, I may be big again one day. So because I don't know where the good Lord plans on taking my body,
and how your body
I
will
would
react
like us
to
have a more size inclusive world.
Is better
because it's better for every. I'm like, look at what happened to the world of makeup the moment Rihanna said, "I'm gonna make makeup for all the skin tones that exist in Black spaces, from the whitest albino."
Where I'm like, it took that long.
But here's the crazy part: when she said, "I'm gonna make makeup for the whitest albino Black person all the way to the darkest Black person," everybody went, "You're just making for Black people?" But guess what I saw online? The palest white redheads being like, finally, a foundation for me.
Yes.
I have never been able to find my color.
Yeah.
And now what's happened in the beauty industry? You've got Tier, a Korean makeup brand, making inclusive shades.
Yeah.
Because even they see the market value. And it's like, so when I watch something like a Top Model doc and Tyra's like, tune back in for cycle 24. I'm like, Tyra, I mean this with love. Drag Race exists. If I want to see a show that plucks people from obscurity, makes them beautiful, gives them a platform, I would rather do Drag Race because I'm also getting reaffirmed as a woman.
Yeah.
Of how gorgeous I am, because I'm watching the tallest bitch ever, Utica, all the way down to the shortest one, like gorgeous. I'm watching bitches that can't walk on the runway. I'm watching girls whose runway walk are insane. I'm watching people come out with fake breastplates. Down to queens who are like, yeah, I don't wear fake boobies. I just come out and whatever. And you're like, and it's like, and I find myself with my big feet being like, where did she buy those shoes? I like those shoes. Where'd you get them?
Yeah.
Or the girls who are flat chested, or even now in this weight loss journey of myself where I'm like, oh, okay, so that's what I can do to feel more confident in this. It's like, it's not that there's a shift. It's like, I think also there's like a Waluigi for every piece of pop culture that's good. It's like, there's a piece that's like kind of repugnant.
Yes.
And so it's like, and I think post Top Model doc, I hope people give themselves grace if they did get trauma from that kind of a show. But also, I hope for the general public, we start to open our eyes up to, one, the actual academic, anthropological, pop culture part of it.
Yes.
And two, how much it impacts culture. And if you see something, call it out. Like, say, like, hey, Because let's be real, Tyra ain't doing that doc because she is a good person.
Absolutely not.
Tyra's doing that doc because she's trying to reboot Top Model.
And I think it is that. And I feel like it's the fact that Hulu's about to, I just saw Lisa D'Amato. I think it's called Dirty Scandal.
Yeah, it's Dirty Secrets, and they're breaking down this is my Mount Rushmore. Because the way I live for the fact that people love to fight me about this, and I'm sure everybody knows this. There are 2 Firefest documentaries.
Oh, yes.
One is on Netflix, one is on Hulu. Now, I know everybody loves the Netflix one because Homeboy says he was willing to suck some peen to get some water.
Yeah.
But I hate that documentary because the Fuck Jerry guys,
yes,
who were kind of like the marketing team, like the media agency behind it, were the producers.
Yeah.
Tyra is one of the producers on that doc. Now, here's how I told my boyfriend. I know Tyra's crazy. Because the fact that Tyra did that whole documentary, saw them clips, reviewed the clips with an editor and with her other producer and said, yeah, this is good. Run it.
I think she thinks she ate. I
think she thinks she ate.
Thinks she absolves herself.
I think Tyra genuinely watches that doc and is like, I'm the good guy in this story.
She's like, now
which that in itself, I'm obsessed with stories where because I'm reading the Bernie Getz book right now. Ooh. And the way it starts, where it's like him running from the subway and kind of being like, whew, okay, did what I had to do. Yes. I'm like, oh, you're the hero in this story.
Yes.
And there's no changing your mind. That's certain like, people who are sitting in the White House. I'm like,
I was gonna say, this
living a Tyra Banks life.
Narcissism. Like they believe it.
They believe. When you show them the evidence, they're like yeah, like I just in my head as somebody who worked in TV, I watched that doc and said to my boyfriend, "Oh, Tyra is delusional."
Totally.
Because she saw all of this, all the clips, all the interviews with the other girls. She saw Miss J saying, Tyra has not come to see me after my stroke.
Yeah.
And said, oh, but see, Miss J says not yet. She knows.
That wasn't what she was saying.
That was the most devastating part of the doc. Was to have Miss J be
heartbreaking.
Like, I haven't seen Tyra, not yet. And then to find out when people are like, ooh, Miss J was being shady. It's like, Miss J just got a handle on speaking again post-stroke.
Well, and I just saw Jay Manuel did a
said that
interview,
walking a little bit,
and that was when I also realized Miss J was in the hospital for almost 2 years.
This is what I'm saying.
She had time.
Blew my mind. I said Tyra looked at this doc and thought it was good.
I think so.
So for me, that doc is the Fuck Jerry Netflix one.
I completely, yep.
Now, when it comes to Firefest docs, I love the Hulu one. And people love to be like, you like it because it has Billy McFarland. I say this as somebody who used to have Netflix colleagues as former Netflix employees as colleagues because they used to fight. They were like, you just like it because Billy's in that one. I said, no, I like it because not a single person who helped to put the doc together is listed as a producer. And I was like, so they're very clear about the involvement of the Fuck Jerry team. They're very clear about how screwed up Billy is. They're very clear of how complicit every single person was, like all of that. And that's the part I'm excited to see with the second doc is that I'm like, I want to see
Netflix and Hulu again.
I'm like, we keep doing this. And I'm like, and if I'm a bigwig at Hulu Disney, I'm like, I know we have this 1 hour special coming. I need a full feature doc.
Yeah.
I need us to talk to Lisa. We need to turn that into a full 90-minute documentary like what Netflix has.
Yes.
Because it's the same reason I love books, right? It's like Heather Ann Thompson has the most beautiful Bernie Getz book. And then there is another book out that's called 8 Shots by this dude. And I had somebody describe it to me. They said, do not read it. It removes the racial implications of the Bernie Getz. It honestly kind of takes Bernie's side in it. It kind of lays out like a little bit of like a devil's advocate, like, well, he had his reasons.
Yes. I have someone in the YouTube comments doing that.
It's just truly. And it's like, and that's the thing. It's like from just books or pop culture, like all of this stuff is things we consume. That we can either go into as conscious consumers. Like that would be if somebody was like, okay, what's the thesis? It's like, then just be a conscious consumer. Because I'm going to be real frank. Tyra drops the 25th cycle of Top Model.
You're gonna watch. I'm gonna probably watch too.
I'm gonna watch it. It's
I don't
the
know
same
what to
reason.
do with that. I feel so conflicted.
It's the same reason I didn't hate it, but every second of The Housemaid, for me, was a hate read.
Yes.
In a delightful way.
Yeah.
And you want to know what I did the next day on New Year's Eve? I went to the theaters to see the movie. I went by myself. I wore my coat. I went to a theater that is like 30 minutes from my house.
So
there is a movie. Nobody would see me. There's a movie theater I can walk to from my apartment, and I still drove.
I love that.
30 minutes to the valley to go see it.
That's amazing. That's probably how I would have handled Marty Supreme if I did go.
I was hunkered down in my seat, like
you're like, don't mind
nobody
me.
sees me. Yeah, I was like, I'm so embarrassed. Oh my god, I'm here in this garbage movie. I'm giving Sydney Sweeney my money. Oh no. But like, I am a conscious consumer.
Right.
I am not like, I am never watching Housewives being like, that's what I want to be. No. I am watching Housewives being like, Bose is having Bose is having an issue with Amanda because of this, this, and this. Now, am I also enjoying it on a silly level? Yes. Mm-hmm. Does it validate me when I'm watching Michelle Obama on her own podcast explain Housewives to her brother?
Oh, I loved that. And she's like, I don't really remember. And then she like rattled
and then
off.
She gives the most detailed breakdown of Teresa Giudice and the table flip.
And I love that he's like, so was there like an empty table? She's like, no, it was fancy dinner.
I had to pause the pod. I walked my boyfriend through the scene.
Yes.
I go, so now you have to remember. I said, what do you think of when you think of New Jersey? He said Snooki. I said, okay, so I need you to take Snooki, turn the volume up times 10.
Yeah.
That's Teresa Giudice.
Mm-hmm.
He said, what? I go, imagine. I said, quintessential New Jersey. I said, she's all Joe.
Yeah,
Joe.
My daughters.
My daughters. I love my daughters. I love my babies. I love my daughters. I love my life. I love it. Oh, look at your face. I love my babies. I said, Caroline Manzo. I said, what do you think of when you think of a wife from The Sopranos?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay. So again, 10 times. I said, Caroline Manzo, this is about my family.
Yeah.
You do not go against the family.
Yeah.
And then I proceeded to lay out that entire table flipping scene.
Yes.
And he goes, this sounds like cinema.
It is.
And I go, babe, you couldn't write TV that good. Same thing with the Top Model doc.
Yeah.
When they had that moment of Nigel, Mr. J, and Miss J together,
mm-hmm.
I said, you couldn't write an end
I know.
to a show as good as this. I said, this is fucking cinematic.
Yeah.
Because the movie buff in me
mm-hmm.
went, I'll tell you what the story is. I said, you take Jay's book, his nonfiction retelling of Top Model.
Yes.
I said, you show this psycho. I said, do you know how, I said, and here they initially were put as pit against each other. These two queer men of color were not allowed to carry a show.
That was also huge too. Like we weren't
blew my mind.
That.
And they were like, and then they had to bring in Nigel, which that made me laugh because I was like, talk about white passing and race being a social construct. Because Nigel's like, I'm half Sri Lankan. I'm not even really white.
I know.
But like,
and he's not like rugged masculine in the way he interacts with people. The same thing
when they were like, yeah, when they said the thing about Jay Alexander or Jay Manuel, I was like, babes, because I grew up with flamboyant gay men. Cool. So when I saw Jay Alexander and Tim Gunn, I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Reminded me of my cousin David.
Right.
My favorite person in the world, this asexual queer man.
Yeah.
And I truly was like, representation matters.
Yeah.
But like, they always forget the asexual. Read Bury Your Gays, guys. It's really funny.
I love that conclusion. Yes.
I'm obsessed with that book.
Mm-hmm.
But like, that moment was so cinematic.
Yeah.
Of them talking about what this meant, of knowing that they were kind of pitted against each other. I said, you couldn't write a scene more beautiful. And I said, because imagine if you watched a TV show
mm-hmm.
of what that was, and then you heard a knock at the door, would we not as an audience be like, Tyra's coming through the door? Right. Or like the characterization of Tyra?
Yes.
I almost cried because the idea in my head in this TV show of a knock happening at the door, Miss J being like, and the door opening and it being Nigel and Jay.
I'm like getting chills again.
I said, I told my boyfriend, I said, that would be beautiful because that would be I said, that would end the male loneliness epidemic.
Yes. Yes.
I said, to end a movie with the male friendships are the most important friendship. I said, oh my God, you might be able to heal incels. If you make a movie out of these three's relationship, doing this show, I said, that's what we need, the platonic heated rivalry.
That's what I was about to ask.
It felt like a platonic heated rivalry where it was like, guess what? The real love story were the friends we made along the way.
Yes.
This straight man creating community with these two queer men of color.
Yes.
And they are each other's family.
Which is
they love each other.
What we say when the patriarchy robs men, too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, so then again, it's like, you can watch that doc. We can all laugh.
Mm-hmm.
We can make fun of how delusional Tyra is. We can also be conscious consumers of reality TV.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also glimmers of beautiful shit in it.
Yes.
And I feel, and to be honest, I love Girl on Girl.
Mm-hmm.
But that's missing from it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Where is the beauty of the things that we did gain from these spaces?
Mm-hmm.
It's not all bad.
Yeah.
Like I said, top model may have made me a little neurotic about my appearance.
Right.
A lot of neurotic added to my body dysmorphia.
Which, the when you were talking about it, another book rec would be The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
When you were realizing how much of it was internalized for you, too, I was like, okay.
Yeah. But like for every bit of what Top Model quote unquote took from me, Drag Race gave it back to me.
Yeah. Well, and then there's all the side things. Like, did some people become great friends because they watched it together? Then there's like
that's
that
what I'm
whole
saying.
Thing.
Or the amount of people who did become models, who used their platform for something beautiful.
Yeah.
Who watched that size 6 girl? Like, that's Ashley Graham.
Mm-hmm.
She watched that girl who was a size 6.
Yep.
And was like, well, I guess I could do it. Like, for me, it was Takara Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward, Takara, the same woman that was screaming about, who got eliminated after she said, and I still love that Tyra confronted them, or not Tyra, Takara confronted them about their lack of sizes.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, you could find clothes in my size.
Well,
you just don't want to.
You cast me.
Yeah, you knew what I looked like. You know my body spec. Why are we doing this game?
Uh-huh.
But then fast forward, I worked on the show I was an intern when I worked on the show Takara was the host on at BET.
Wow.
And I don't think people understand the full circle moment because I had started to get bigger. Now, I was not as big as Takara, nor was I as big as Whitney.
Yeah.
At my biggest as an adolescent, I probably wore a 10, 12.
Yeah.
And people need to keep in mind, I was also a junior Olympian in swimming.
Right.
So your girl was jacked. I was yoked up.
Mm-hmm.
My arms made Tara's look small. I was on the Chris Hemsworth path of strength.
Yes.
And to fast forward all these years later, to be working on a set with Takara.
Yeah.
And I remember she was interviewing Playmates. Now, again, for people, you have to understand this is when Girls Next Door was on.
Yep.
I desperately wanted to be, as I like to call it now, I wanted to be a pretty girl, a professional pretty girl.
Yeah.
It was like, I wanted to be a Playboy model or an SI thing, or at one point when I was in my undergrad, I wanted to be Miss Hooters. I was like, how do I get away from being smart and funny and get to be pretty?
I mean, if you can do it with that alone.
Truly, I was like, if I could just be pretty, I'd be so happy. All my problems would be solved.
Right.
To fast forward and be on set with Takara, interviewing a bunch of Playmates who had written a book about how to have Playmate beauty. We were on a break for Crafty. And maybe this is where we end the episode, because let me tell you, this feels cinematic.
Do it.
To be on that set, I'm in New York. I'm fresh out of high school. I'm trying to make myself look adult and do all these things. We were at Craft Services. And I remember standing there, and Takara and this one Playmate stood next to me, and they were getting their food. And Takara looked over at me, and she was like, "You are so pretty." And I was like, "Oh, thanks. I put this outfit." And she goes, "No, not the outfit. You know you're pretty, right?" And I was like, "What?" And the Playmate girl was like, "I was just thinking that too. The whole time you were like flitting around on set, I was like, oh my God, that girl's so pretty."
Oh, I love that.
So for me, like, to your point of who knows what friendships were formed,
right?
All the hell Takara went through to then see her thriving watching her have this show. She now has plus size lingerie and apparently it's killing it.
Ooh, good.
But to fast forward and see her thriving and then have her say something so kind, I don't think she'll ever know that for me at that stage of my life,
right,
to hear that from her meant the world.
Completely, yeah.
And I'm like, I hope she gets her flowers for the rest of her life for what she means for the culture.
Yes.
The same thing when I think about Shandy and all of these girls, when I think about Homegirl with her snaggletooth, I'm like, I hope you all understand. I know it was horrible. And I know it rocked your shit and probably messed up a lot of your, I mean, and listen, I speak as a fellow soldier on the front lines of professional pretty girls, because Lord knows Miss USA did a number on me, but I also learned a lot from it. And a lot of people have come up to me throughout my life and told me what it meant to see me on that stage.
Oh, yeah.
So it is like, it is truly the thing where it's like, watch that doc, absolutely use your 2026 lens, but just know that like a lot of good also came out of that toxicity that has changed a lot of people's lives for the better, set them on the path of what they want to be. And it's a wild time in pop culture.
And sometimes you can reframe it and then what you went through becomes empowering. Or like I've experienced with some things lately where it's like, even like my religious trauma, it's nice to be able to reframe it, that I can talk about that world since I've been in that world. So it's like, then when, like you're saying, then the girls who are like, it meant so much to see you there, it's like, you really can turn things
you can really turn it around. And so like that, it's like amongst this whole what are we going to call it, the top model syllabus that you can consume of things we pointed out. It's like that. Also know that there's a lot of like cool shit involved with it too.
Yes, I agree.